Anjakanta chapter 8, and this is a new chapter we're starting. These are the last concluding pastimes of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is in Nilachala in Jagannath Puri. Jaya Jaya Mahaprabhu Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Jaya Jaya Nityananda Sri Bhavana Dhanya. Vrindavan Thakur opens the chapter by glorifying his Ishtadev. All glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Nityananda Prabhu, who made the three worlds glorious. Nityananda Tribhuvana Dhanya. Bhakta Goshti Sahita Gauranga Jai Jai. Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhya Hai. All glories to Gauranga and his devotees. The Bhakta Goshti Sahita. Just by hearing the glories of Lord Chaitanya, one obtains bhakti. Shunile Chaitanya Katha Bhakti Labhya. You acquire bhakti by hearing about the personification of bhakti. Eve Shuna Vaishnava Sabara Agaman Acharya Gosai Adi Jatta Bhaktagan. Please hear about the arrival of the Vaishnavas headed by Advaita Acharya. Arrival means arrival in Jagannath Puri, Agaman. Agaman means to go to or travel. So it's Chaturmasya. What particular year I can't say. But to all the devotees from Shantipur, Navadvip Mandal, Srikhanda, Katwa, all over Bengal, they would come every year to spend Chaturmasya with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Jagannath, Brajendralanda and Shamsundar. So Nityananda arrived and had some interaction with Gadadhar, who's living there, and Gauranga, who's living there. And now Advaita's arrived, and with all his group of Vaishnavas. Generally, the Advaitacharya, he would travel with the large number of Vaishnavas. And Nityananda being Avadut and later being married to Chandramata and Vasudha, he generally moved either sometimes with Lord Chaitanya or with a smaller group or by himself. Shivananda is saying he would come with Advaitacharya and all the Grihastha devotees, usually about 250 devotees, 200 to 300 devotees, which means basically about 100 families. You can imagine 100 families traveling together. It's quite a large group. Husbands and wives, 100, that becomes 200, maybe some children. Advaita had 6 children, Achyutananda and others. So it wasn't that big a party. In numbers it was 200, but it was 70, 80, 100 families maximum. And they were all Gauranga Bhaktas. So now we can hear, you must have heard about Raghava Pandit and his sister Damayanti, and they came from Panihati, and they made so many sweets. Damayanti and her husband, her brother, I believe, her brother Raghava Pandit, they would make so many preparations which would keep for weeks, even months, and wrap them in special banana leaves or special types of leaves, and put them in clay pots and all kinds of things. It was called Raghava Jali. Jali means the bag of Raghava, like a big chini bori, big say jute bag that we carry sugar in it, sugar sack, and be packed with offerings, and bring them all the way to Gambhira in Puri to offer to Lord Chaitanya, and then he would eat a little bit of those preparations for 1 year. It's described, they were so good, because they are made with love, and love never goes stale. And the preparations were made with love, so even though they were a year old, they were still fresh, ever fresh. Some extraordinary preservation qualities. So now we'll hear Shri Ratha Yatara Asi Haila Samai Nilachali Bhakta Goshti Haila Vijay. When time for Ratha Yatra arrived, all the devotees came to Nilachala. Ishvara Agyaya Prati Vatsare Vatsare Sabaya Isena Rata Yatra Deki Bhare. By the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, Ishvara Agya, the order of the Lord, the devotees would come every year to attend Ratha Yatra. Sab Aisena Rathayatra Devi, to see Rathayatra. Acharya Gosayagri Kari Bhaktagan Sabe Nila Chali Prati Karila Gaman. Keeping Advaita Acharya in front, the devotees travel to Nilachala. So he is the most honorable devotee in that Sangha, Vaishnava Raja Sabha, and he is elderly, almost senior in age, and also famous Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. He in fact is the cause of it, as everyone knows. He was offering Ganga Jal and Chandan Tulsi to the Shalagram with an intense prayer. He's actually wailing throughout the night, so loud people could hear him for kilometers. Advaitacharya was crying in his house in Shantipur, near the bank of the Ganga. Ganga flowed by his house. In Shantipur, in the early morning and night, he was crying, "Oh my Lord, please come, please advent yourself, please descend into this Kali Yuga. Because if you don't come in some special form, the people here will never be saved." And actually they're all Advaitacharya's expansions. Because Advaitacharya is Mahavishnu and Purusha avatar. Mahavishnu, and he of course expands his glance, transports all the jivas into the Prakriti, into this Bahiranga Shakti, his glance. And that mechanism of carrying the jivas, the carrier, you could say, the jivas is Lord Shiva. And he impregnates the womb of Prakriti, Durga. And then we take our position there in the Tatastha region. So Mahavishnu has appeared as Advaitacharya. And he's thinking, these are all my parts and parcels, all these jivas. And they're hopelessly entangled in the meshes of Kali Yuga. And he was preaching like anything, and holding kirtan in Shantipur, but he was a minority. Everyone in Navadvip Mandal, all the Brahmins, all the Kshatriyas and high-class Vaishnavas, they were worshipping Durga, Shasti, all kinds of goddesses and devis, and engaged in all types of tantric practices. And they're only concerned with material enjoyment. It's very funny when you read it in Caitanya Bhagavata and other places. It explains that the Kshatriyas, the Brahmins and Kshatriyas, the wealthy people in the culture, society of Navadvip. On one side, Navadvip was a center for learning and knowledge. Like some cities in India are famous for colleges. It's a college town, I don't know, maybe Dehradun. This our friend Devesha, there's hundreds of schools in Dehradun. And maybe Pune, I don't know, but educational centers. So Navadvip was famous as an educational center of northeast India. Let's say, yes, northeast India. Especially famous for Nyaya, for logic. Like some schools in America, if you want to study math, then you go to this school. If you want to study literature, you go to Oxford University or whatever. Engineering schools and medical schools. So aside from one side, everyone's pursuing mundane logic, which is some kind of philosophical pursuit. There's an intelligentsia, an intellectual class of Navadvip. But the masses of people, they are simply engaged in making money and worshipping Devi, Durga, to get promotion, position, kamani, kanak, pratishta, enjoyment of the senses through men or women, and recognition in society, and fame, and money and wealth. And they were spending all their money on puja and weddings and parties. It's described there. It sounds like North India. In Delhi, people spend, without mentioning any particular people, but in North India, people spend lakhs on marriages, 1 crore, and millions of dollars people spend on marriages regularly, just to maintain their position and name and fame in society. And, oh, this is my son getting married. Oh, how much are you spending? Oh, I'm spending 4 crores. Oh, very good, very good. One night, and they spend probably $1 million on food for one night. And they make these feasts for the guests, 500 guests or 1,000 guests, and each plate is worth 3,000 rupees, and all gets thrown in the trash can, practically all of it. Huge waste of food, such sinful activity. So the same thing was going on 500 years ago. And Vaitacharya was looking around saying, hello, listen, anyone out there has ears? Anyone can hear the truth? Does anyone want to hear the philosophy of Atma Tattva Gyan? And what his message was falling on deaf ears. Somehow he managed to attract one Muslim. His name, I don't know his name, but now we know his name. Thakur Haridas, Namacharya Haridas Thakur. He came from that side and started associating with Vaitacharya and heard Harikatha from him at Shantipur. And he ended up doing bhajan there in Benapole, which is near his house. And of course he became legendary and famous as the converted Muslim. So this is the time period, so Vaita called on Gauranga, so everyone holds him in so much regard. That's why he's held in front of all the devotees when they're going to Puri, because he's the inaugurator of the Gaudiya Sampradaya. He's, in one sense, the amitic karan, the immediate cause for this whole advent and appearance of Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Vaitacharya ki jai. Chalilena Thakura Pandita Srinivas Chanhara Mandire Haila Chaitanya Vilas. Shivas Pandit, in whose house Lord Chaitanya performed his pastimes, he also came along. Chalila Acharya Ratna Sri Chandrasekhar Devi Bhave Yanregriye Nachila Ishvara. Chandrasekhar Acharya, in whose house Gauranga danced as Devi, he also came. There was one play there, was described earlier, in his Mayapur Leela, where Gauranga Mahaprabhu disguised himself, I believe, as Rukmini. He was playing a play about Dwarka Leela, and he disguised himself, or he was, let's say, his costume was so wonderful, and his acting was so perfect, no one even could understand, this is Lord Gauranga. Of course, I guess they couldn't understand, it was an extremely tall Rukmini Devi. Rukmini was 7 feet tall, because Gauranga is 7 feet tall. And then Haridas Thakur, he played the master of ceremonies. He had a big mustache and big stick and like this. It's in Caitanya Bhagavata. So that was Chandrasekhar's house. Chandrasekhar Acharya lived right next to Mahaprabhu's house, Mahaprabhu Bhavan. And he acted as his father after Jagannath Mishra left this world. He looked after Nimai and Mother Shachi. Chalilena Harishe Pandit Gangadas Janhara Smarane Haya Karma Bandhanash. Gangadas Pandit came. Simply by remembering him, one's fruit of bondage is destroyed. Gangadas Pandit, of course, is the Vyakaran Guru of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit. He taught him Vyakaran, Sanskrit grammar, and Gangadas Pandit had many wonderful pastimes also with Chaitanya, rather Nimai Pandit. Pundarika Vidyanidhi Chalila Anand Uche Sware Janre Smari Gora Chandrakand. Pundarik Vidyanidhi also joyfully came in great bliss. While remembering him, the Lord cried loudly. Seems that Gauranga, whenever he was interacting with Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he was crying or doing something loudly, crying loudly or chanting loudly. Because Pundarik Vidyanidhi, to give some background if you don't know, he's of course Vrishabhanu. He's the father of Radharani. So imagine how dear Vrishabhanu Maharaj is to Lord Krishna, and how much Vrishabhanu likes Krishna, because so much pastimes that his daughter has with Krishna. So when Pundarik Vidyanidhi appeared, he appeared in East Bengal, and once he moved, he came to Navadvip Mandal, and then Lord Chaitanya, he understood he has entered the holy abode of Navadvip. And he started yelling out loud, "My father has come, my father has come." Everybody's saying. who's he talking about? Your father has come. Your father is there in your house in Mayapur, Jagannath Mishra. He said, no, my father has come. He said, where? No, he's come from the east. My father's come from the east. So then finally Pundarik Vidyanidhi came to meet Gauranga. And when Lord Chaitanya saw him, he ran to him with open arms. He was loudly, hunkara, roaring like a lion. Bop, bop, bop. Bop means father. Oh, father, father, father. And everyone says, what is this? He said, my father's coming. Now he's running to embrace this strange person. Some Pandit has come, some Brahmin. He's dressed in bundi and all these things, like a Brahmin. And because he's a Acharya, Acharya Nidhi. He's called Acharya Nidhi, Prem Nidhi. Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He's a Nidhi. He's an ocean of knowledge, Vidyanidhi, treasure of knowledge. So everyone said, what is this? And they embrace and they bathe each other in showers of tears and rolled on the ground in loving embrace. It couldn't be broken for minutes. And finally, when they came to external consciousness, then Lord Chaitanya said, revealed, this is Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Prem Nidhi. This Prem Nidhi is my father, is Radharani, Antar Krishna Bahir Radha, Radha's Kanti and Radha's Bhav is Gauranga. So now he's come. Actually, what we hear here is a star-studded list, of all the all-stars of Gauranga Leela. They're saying who came. These are all the most advanced devotees and the key figures in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, practically speaking. So there's a long list here of different devotees, one by one by one. Marigupta, and these are primarily, they're all the Nitya Parishads, of course, of Lord Gauranga and Lord Krishna. It's, of course, as we heard, we may not understand how it all works, but the Namrup Gun Leela of these Parishads, as Krishna is eternal, and Krishna's name is eternal, and Pavitram, eternally purifying, and it's rasa-filled. Navachintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shiva Nitya Mukta Vinatwan Namanamano. So the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. That which is named Nama, Nami Namano. And that name is full of ras. That name is it's a form of ras. Navachintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. And that name is alive. If you're alive, oh, you look like you're alive, yes. But my name, I wrote my name on a piece of paper. But the piece of paper was my name. That name is not me. I'm here. I'm alive. The name is not alive. But the name of the Lord is eternally alive. It's Chaitanya. Chaitanya means living, principle. Shakti, power, prabha. So all the power of God, all the sweetness of God, all the madhur of God, madhurya, power, and Aishwarya, the grandeur, the opulence, the omnipotency, and the sweetness and intimacy of God is in His name, Krishna. Krishna is all sweetness and all power. Power and sweetness, majesty and mercy, everything contained together. And the same applies for Krishna's expansions, his parishads. When we say Gangadas Pandit, okay, Gangadas, I know Gangadas is one Italian devotee in Mayapur. His name is Gangadas. Jayapataka Swami's Pujyapada, Srila Jayapataka Swami's Shishya. They were nice devotees, long-time devotees. His name is Gangadas, one Italian person born there. So if I chant Gangadas, then that's Namrukum Leela Gangadas. I don't know, could be. But here, Vedavyas, Vrindavandas Thakur is saying, in the previous verse, he said, Gangadas Pandit has come to Jagannath Puri. Simply by remembering him, Smaran, fruit of bondage is destroyed. That's what it's to. Janhara Smarane Karma Bandha Nash. Shalilena Harishe Pandit Gangadas. Janhara Smarane Hai Karma Bandha Nash. Nash. Karma Bandha, the bondage of karma, the noose of time, the chakra, birth and death, Janma Mritu Javyadi, it's broken. is destroyed by smaran. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Vishnu Padaseva. Vishnu Smaranam, Vishnu Smaranam. So that means what? That means so much power in the name. Purna Shuddho. Purna Shuddho, Nityamukto. That the name of Krishna and his parishas is pure, completely pure and powerful. Purity is power. Purna Shuddho, Nityamukto. And so one by one we're hearing these names. Oh, it seems like a long list of names. Let's get to it. The whole idea of hearing Shastra and reading Shastra is to become pure. And when we're pure, we become attracted to Krishna more and more. We become attached to Krishna more and more. And we start to appreciate Krishna more and more. And we start to love Krishna more and more. And Krishna starts to manifest more and more in our hearts, in our minds, in our senses, in our memory. And then soon we fill with asakti, attachment, and then bhav, then prema. So every aspect of this transcendental puzzle piece of love, transcendental puzzle of prema, every piece fits together to produce the final result, a clear picture of the puzzle. The puzzle is many little cut-out pieces. Puzzle, you know puzzle? And you put them together and you make a composite. And all these pieces, I put them together, oh, this is a duck. Oh, this is like children. This is a fish. So all these are elements. These are all necessary elements of the puzzle prize of prema. The glorification, Vaishnava Mahima, Nam Mahima, Dham Mahima, Krishna Mahima, and then Kartik Mahima, the glories of the Dham, the glories of the holy name, the glories of the Vaishnavas, Bhagavat Mahima, the glories of Bhagavan. This is wonderful, actually. So now Pundarika's come, and now Krishna is remembering him. Uchai Sware, Smari Gora Chandra Khande. Lord Chandra, Lord Chaitanya is crying when he simply remembers Pundarika and he starts crying. We cry anytime. We cry when we're in pain or suffering or denied something we want or frustrated in our attempts for something. But remember a great devotee and cry. Because we hear, when we sing, all of you, of course, many of you are musicians, etc., and the Tirabhava of the Vaishnavas, Jayanila Premadana. The person, who is it, wrote that song? I don't remember. Narottam, maybe Narottam Das Thakur. He says, I'm beating my head on a rock. I'm crashing my head on the rock and I'm crying in separation. And this vilap, separation from the Vaishnavas. So this is, of course, on these Tirabhav Tithis, the disappearance day of the Vaishnavas, we should at least feel that separation. At least one day, 1 hour in a year. Oh my Gurudev, oh my Param Gurudev. Simply remembering the Lord cried. Chalilena Harishe Pandit Prakreshwara Jay Nachite Kirtaniya Sri Gaurasundara. Prakreshwara Pandit Prakreshwara, who danced while Lord performed kirtan, happily came along. Harishe. That's described previously in chapter 3 of Antikanda. Everyone knows that very much. It's a very common, well-known fact. The Vikreshwara Pandit, he danced for 3 days non-stop, 72 hours. Lord Chaitanya was singing. I believe so. Lord Chaitanya was singing kirtan. You're many devotees part of Akhanda Kirtan group. But can you imagine singing for 72 hours? That's a long stretch. So when you're doing your kirtan, seva of 4 hours, maybe 4 hours? 6. 3. 6. 6. Two shifts of 3. 3. Okay. So 6 hours a day. So when you're doing your kirtan shift of 3 hours, sometimes maybe throat is not good or you're feeling cold, sick or whatnot, or tired, and you can remember Lord Chaitanya. It's even told in Caitanya Bhagavata, a difficult thing becomes easy. A difficult thing becomes easy by remembering the Panchatattva. Sri Gauranga Nityananda, Sri Vaita Chandra, Gadadhara, Sri Vasudhi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Sri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Bhajagara. So remember their Namrup, Guna and Leela. So, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, you sang for 72 hours. And you can even go to the altar or whatever, you look over there. Gauranga, if you can see from there, I don't know. You look at Gauranga or Balaram or Krishna Balaram. Say, oh Gauranga, you chanted and Navadri, Puri, I think Navadri, for 3 days continuously, and while you chanted, then Vrikeshwara Pandit danced. And at the conclusion of that 3 days, kirtan, dancing, utsav, then you said, my Lord, oh Vrikeshwara Pandit, you're like one wing. You're like one wing of a great bird. And if I had, he said, you're like one, Vrikeshwara Pandit, you're like one wing of a great bird. If I had another wing like you, I could fly in the sky. Because, you know, a bird needs 2 wings to fly. So this person has come along. It's interesting because in the mention of this verse, in each purport, there's a reference to where this devotee is glorified. And most of the cases we've already discussed it. And then now, Chalila Pradyumna Brahmacharya Mahashai Sakshat Nishinga Jandra Sange Kata Kai. Pradyumna Brahmachari also came. Lord Nrsingadev used to talk with him directly. So Pradyumna Brahmachari, he was like an Avesh. He was also called Nrsingananda Brahmachari. So he's there. These are all great devotees. Chalilena Ulase Thakura Haridas Ara Haridas Janre Sindhu Kulevas. Haridas Thakur joyfully came. And another Haridas who stayed at the shore of the ocean also came. So that was Chota Haridas. Chota Haridas lived in Jagannath Puri. He's the one that begged the rice from Malini, what was it? Madhavi Devi. Madhavi Devi is, I believe, Shiki Mahiti's sister. And there was a little problem came with that rice. He lost his life with that rice. Very costly rice that was. At Chota Haridas. So then we'll continue that tomorrow. Hearing more about that because it's half hour and then half hour. This goes on for many pages actually, all the great devotees. So we're given a chance to hear about these great devotees and remember them. Tomorrow is Vasudeva Dutt, Mukunda Tapa, Govindananda. We're hearing and we're remembering by hearing and we're thinking. And we can also pray that all these devotees are living eternally in these Shastras, and are living eternally in Navadvip, in a Navadvip Sarup, and are living eternally in Vrindavan, in a Vrindavan Sarup. Just like tomorrow we discuss Mukunda Datta, and Mukunda Datta, maybe Mukunda Das, I think is Vrindadevi. Each one of these persons has a, like Vrikeshwara Pandit, for example, who danced in Vrindavan Leela. Does anyone know who he is? He's one of the Ashtasakis. The Ashtasaki of Tunga Vidya. Tunga Vidya is one of Radharani's 8 Sakis. And he has a temple here, it's called Sri Radhakant, Sri Radhakant Mandir. That was established by Vrikeshwara Pandit. Or rather, I would say, I think it was established by Kashishvara Pandit, the superintendent of the Jagannath temple. Vrikeshwara Pandit was a Punjari there, and a Mahant also lived there, Radhakant. And that's where Gambhira was. So that we'll hear about more of these devotees tomorrow.